what I'm going to use to help you out if you want to reuse this and create your own use case. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help you today?
You have four main components. One, you have the live API provider, you have side panel, you have Altair, and you have control tray. So directly as parameter, which makes it insecure. So please do not use this or this approach for a production application. I've added a markdown file here. So for example, if you want to reuse this particular repository and create your own app, how do you do that? So this is what also explained here with an example. Gemini 2.0 Multimodal AI is really amazing. You must have already seen some demo videos from YouTube or even from Google's own launch, or I have already created a custom app and I have demoed it using the Gemini 2.0 yesterday. So I hope you have already seen that. Now, the best part with Google's releasing the Gemini 2.0 with such a multimodal capabilities and also offering it to people to use it for free is really a blessing for us, especially people like us. For comparison, when OpenAI launched their real-time API, it was such an expensive model that we could not even afford to try it out much. But anyway, in this video, what we are going to do is to do a deep dive into the Google's Gemini 2.0 multimodal AI and how it is working so that we understand the way their playground code is created, whether it is perfectly okay to use it or not, and how to improve it to create some real life application. So let's not waste any more time and let's diving into my screen. Shall we? Welcome to the screen and let's start with the news. For some of you, this might be a completely new news. So let me just quickly cover this section before we do the deep dive. Basically, on December 11, Google have dropped Gemini 2.0. As they have launched Gemini 2.0, they are mainly focusing on the agentic workflows or agentic use cases, which is really, really awesome, I feel. I would say I am really glad that they have launched a multimodal model because that actually opens up so many possibilities. As they also says here that it is their most capable model yet, and it supports video and audio input and output as well. It is really low latency model, and this is what I have also tested in the previous custom app that I have released yesterday. Just check the video. I will attach that in the link in the description or somewhere in the screen. Check that. I'm sure you will be also amazed by its low latency output. That was really good, I would say. And of course, this model is called Gemini 2.0 Flash. So this is kind of successor to 1.5 Flash, but they say that it sometime outperforms the 1.5 Pro, which is really a good news. The other bit is, as I said, it natively support and speech to text. So that means you don't need to do all those internal processing that I had to do when I was doing LiveKit based agents. Although LiveKit is a really effective product in my testing, but if Gemini 2.0 directly does that, I don't see a reason why we wouldn't directly use Gemini 2.0 for their agentic flows, right? So again, I'm also planning to create multiple such applications or demos or use cases in this channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button to the channel because there will be a lot of such multimodal use case that I'm gonna bring in the channel in the coming days. Cool. I don't again trust on the benchmark much, but again, they were showing that the benchmarks of this model is really, really good. But in my personal testing for in a very minimal setup, it was really good. It was really be able to answer the questions without hallucinating much. Although I had a kind of long conversation yesterday as part of the custom app, but it was in my testing, it was able to actually remember all the context because of the fact that all of the Google's Gemini model comes with the million token context, which is really, really fascinating. And I think also the fact that most of the Google Gemini model cost is really, really low. If you compare it with OpenAI's models or Cloud 3.5 Sonnet, I think it's just awesome that Google's Gemini models are really cheap. And I think this is where they might just get the market again going towards their direction, because I feel Google was lacking a bit, although they have all the data and everything. So I think they just want to take the steps a bit slow But it's really good to see that they have now catching up with all the other major providers, which is a good news for us because we definitely like to see a lot of this interesting and improved model, which anyway we are seeing these days. Anyway, they have also launched a couple of other projects like Project Astra and Project Mariners and all these things. I'm not going to go details into this video because then it will be a completely off topic. In this video, what we wanted to cover is how the multimodal thing is working under the hood. So you can actually test the Gemini 2 Flash model from the AI Studio. I'm sure you already have tested it. If you're not, just go there and test it. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. You can actually share videos using screen or camera, and you can test it, right? You can add custom functions here, and you can enable code execution, so it can do code execution as well. So these are all awesome, but again, as I said in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at this particular code that they have released. It's more of a playground code, but they say that it's kind of an production ready. You can actually build it for production, which is interesting. Let's see how the code is actually working under the hood, how it is actually communicating with the Google's Gemini model, and how it is generating output so that we can customize it, right? This is our intention, of course, right? That we take the playground code and we can customize it to our own custom use, or maybe we can create some agents for a specific custom use, right? So let's go to my IDE and let me share my IDE screen and just show you how this particular playground code is actually working. So if you're ready, let's go to the VS Code screen. So what you need to do first is just copy this and clone this in your local repository. I have already done that. So this is where the code is like, and what I have done for you as well as for me to explain you better is I have added a lot of comments here as a section so that it helps me to make you understand while I'm recording the video, as well as if you take this piece of code, you will also have some reference. Of course, you can actually clone it from the original one, or you can find the link of this particular repository with the added comments as well in the section, so you can download that as well. And this particular code section will have all the commented section for important part of the code that you need for understanding and make any changes as you need. Now let's first take a look step by step how the code is working. This is all created as a React code. This is more sort of a front end code, I believe. So I am not really a React or front end guy or an Next.js guy, but by doing a lot of projects using AI, now I have some understanding of the React code and Next.js code. So that's what I'm going to use to help you out if you want to reuse this and create your own use case. First thing first, there is an .env file which you need to change with the API key. Again, you can come back to the AI Studio and basically you can create an API key from here, and it's absolutely free. As I said, there is a rate limit, I think 15 requests per minute or something. I think which is okay. In my testing, when I've tested yesterday, it was all okay for simple use cases. But of course, if you want to create a production application, you need more than that. 15 API per minute is nothing, of course. But I think in that case, you just need to go for pay as you go pricing model. But that's fine. That is next step. Let's first understand the code base. So the first thing that we want to take a look is the index.tsx. This is where any of the React code basically starts with, and this is where we can see that it is loading the app, which is the app.tsx. Now in the app.tsx, one of the first thing that we see is that it's loading the Gemini AI API, or like the Google's AI API from the .env file, which is not a best practice. I wouldn't recommend you to do that. And I'm going to talk about it a bit more later. So let's first complete the go through or some deep dive of the code, and then we'll talk about this again. And then once it gets the API key, it's basically create the URL for the Google's AI API over WSS or WebSocket secure protocol, not a REST protocol, of course, because if you want to create any multimodal real-time API sort of things, you need a WSS or WebSocket to have faster inference and faster response. So that's good. So this is the host, of course, and this is the URL where this application is going to connect to use the Gemini 2.0 model. Of course, the app actually supports video reference or video frames. The video stream could be from your screen share as well as from your camera. Actually, let me first show you the interface, right? Then it would make sense if you have not seen it before. So what we will do is to set an Google API key here first. Now I have set the env file with a Google AI API key, and I'm just gonna start the application with npm start. And this is how the console looks like. So in the left panel, you can actually select what is the use that you want to test it for. And then this button is where you can start talking with the agent. If I click it now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help you today?
Yeah, so as you can see, it's now talking, and that's how it will work. The other thing I forgot to also show you, you have these buttons as you can see. So this button will enable the video camera, and this one is going to help you share your screen. But in both the cases, this will be presented as a video stream to the Gemini 2.0 as a multimodal model, and it is going to process it. And this is of course your microphone button to mute and unmute yourself. So what happens in the app is you have four main components. One, you have the live API provider, you have side panel, you have Altair, and you have control tray. So live API provider is the component that this app uses to connect with the Google's Gemini model and have that continuous communication over WebSocket. The side panel is when I have opened this, you can see the side panel. This is the side panel basically. So if for your application use, you do not need the side panel, you can completely remove this component and that will just remove the side panel for you. The Altair is basically the main app that is working. Basically in the Altair, which I'm going to show you in just a while, is where you set all the system context and how the particular app or your agent is going to work and everything, all these rule sets that you will actually set into the application. And the control tray is basically provided by this particular playground, which actually represents this particular piece, which actually helps you interact with these elements like the voice, videos, and screen share and webcam elements basically. So this is all written, so you don't have to rewrite it basically. So these are four things, and what we are going to take a look one by one. So as I said, the first thing is live API provider. So live API provider is where we form the WSS URL and the secure connection over WebSocket, and we connect with the Gemini 2.0 model. So we go to source and context, and we open this live API context. So live API context is from where the live API provider is coming from, as you can see. So what is live API provider is doing is basically it's using a hook. That is the basically method that is defined in this TypeScript file. So basically this UI will directly communicate with the Gemini 2.0 over this particular URL, and it will provide the API key as a parameter, not as body, not as header, directly as parameter, which makes it insecure. So please do not use this or this approach for a production application. So make sure you do not do that. The reason is because if you use this particular playground UI and just converted it for your production application, you are actually going to leak out your API key. Simple as that. And if you leak out your API key, you know what happens, right? So you don't want to leak out your own API key in a production application. However, if you want to create some demo app to showcase to investors or to your users, or if you want to create an agent that you want to use for yourself in your local environment, that's fine. You can do that, but make sure it's not available on the internet or something like that. So yes, please remember that all it is doing is just amending the API key on top of the WSS URL. And this is all the hooks that you see, all this TSX file that you see, these are all front-end code. So that means your API key will be available into the browser. So any person or any attacker could easily actually grab your API key from the browser. So please make sure you do not use that. The best approach is actually create a similar WebSocket connection with the server. So maybe create an Node.js Express server, and there you define a WSS endpoint and make the UI connect to that particular endpoint. And from there, you manage the communication over WebSocket to the Google server or to the Gemini 2.0 URL. That is even better, if not best, but this is not production ready. Although I don't know why they have said this here that you can just build the app for production. Being a cybersecurity guy, I do not believe that this is a production ready application. So please keep that in mind. Other than that, it's not doing anything else. It's just forming that particular URL and it's just returning that URL basically, and it's working as a wrapper. And then it's basically, we go back to the app.tsx. We don't need to look at the side panel much because I'm sure whatever application you're going to create, you do not need the side panel much. But a side panel is just to help you select the different AI use cases as they have created here. The main thing that I wanted to show you is the altair, because this is where your application code would reside. So let's go to the altair component, which is source component altair and altair.tsx. And this is where you basically define all of the custom business logic for your app. You would specify your system instruction, you would specify the model that you're going to use. You can see this particular playground is already using Gemini 2.0 Flash EXP model. The response modalities is audio. If you are creating an application which would be more text output, you can change the modalities to text. You can select a voice name. So they have a couple of voices available. I have seen in some of the code. Let me find that quickly. So if you can see here, which is multimodal live types.ts, you have this many voices that is available through the multimodal API. For this particular use case, for the Altair, it's using the voice of, I don't know how to spell it, Awedi. You can definitely test the voices from here. You can actually go to the stream real time, and here you can actually select the voice and test the voice. The one that you like, you can use that in your code. And then you define the system instruction and you define the tools. This is important. Here, as part of this tool or this particular app, the one that comes with this particular code base, they provide Google search and function declaration as the code. But of course, you can add your own custom tool. Example, here they're defining the tool. You can define different tools here and you can just refer those tools in the tools, so that basically this particular application will use the tool as and when it's required. That's it. There's very simple AI agent application. I'm really glad that Gemini is focusing on AI agent use cases rather than just normal AI API SDKs and examples. So this is really, really good because I also believe that AI agents are the future. So it's really good to see we are going into the right directions. Now let's go back to the app.tsx once again, and let's see the control tray. So the control tray is also really, really important, and I'm going to show you. So control tray, again, as I've shown you previously, that it controls the functions that is defined in this particular tray, right? So that means anytime you want to initiate a connection with the agent, you want to mute your input mic, you want to share a screen, you want to share your webcam, these are all controlled in the control tray functions. This is already written. This is well written. I must say I have reused this in my previous custom app demo. You can definitely reuse that. You don't need to change a single line of code in control tray if you want to just keep it like that. But in my application, I had to change it because I didn't want it to kind of share my screen. So I have actually just removed that particular component where it was sharing the screen. All I wanted just the camera button and the video camera button, and that's what I've just used. But it's really easy to do that, right? Because if you see here, there are a couple of buttons that is already defined here. You can just remove it from there and it will work. So it's using HTML canvas element for connect button, which is this button. There is a render canvas button and there is an audio recorder button. And I think there is a webcam or screen capture button. So that's it really. And based on whatever you select, whether webcam or screen capture, it's going to actually create video stream. But the interesting fact is it's not the video stream that it is using. And I'm going to show you exactly now how it's working. This is again a trick, I would say, that they have used, but it's not what it looks like. So this is the part. It's really interesting. So it says if there is no video or no canvas, just written blank, of course, which is not the case, right? Once we share our video camera, what it is doing, it's just capturing the snapshot of that image, reducing it 25%. So for example, if I just draw it quickly for you. So basically it's taking a snap and then reducing the snap of 25%, and then it's adding bunch of snaps like this and creating one big image frame. So it's just creating like that. So it's creating bunch of that. as long as you are giving instructions, and then it's creating one big image having all these particular reduced size images in sequence, and then this particular whole image is it's sending as JPEG. That's it, it's doing. It's not sending the video streaming URL. And that's what I understood by looking at the video, because it's just this saying that canvas.toData URL into JPEG format. So yes, it's sending as real-time input, but I don't see it's actually sending it as a whole video. It's sending it as a video frame to the particular AI model. And that's what we have actually done in one of our previous live kit example as well. I don't know if that is open or not. Let me just check it quickly. In this particular one, if you see, I'll attach the video as well here. You can see in this code as well, which is I have already shared to you in that particular video. We were doing the exactly same thing. We were taking the frame and we were sending the frame as a video stream. So I feel like it's an illusion that it's sending a whole video for processing, but it's not actually sending a whole video. Rather, it's sending frame by frame, or it's sending as JPEG format, and it's reducing the length so that it doesn't actually take the lot of bandwidth when it is sending that thing over the network. So that's how the video frame processing is working. So do not create a use case where you need to give an movie, right? Although they have shown one of the demo where a 44 minutes video that it has been able to process, but I wouldn't really encourage you to create such use case yet, because it's still an experimental model, and I'm not sure how much of recording it will be able to track or keep track. Especially, it depends on the system instruction as well as the input that you are giving. Right, that's all. I guess there is nothing much here. That's what I wanted to show you. Now what I have done is I have added some commented input in each of this code that you will see. So again, as I said, if you want to download this code, I will attach the link so that you have reference to each of this particular section of the code, what it is doing and how it is working. But feel free to do that if you want to clone the official one. That's fine. I haven't changed anything, by the way. The additional thing that I have also added is I've added a markdown file here. So for example, if you want to reuse this particular repository and create your own app, how do you do that? So this is what also explained here with an example. So this is an example. What I have used is, let's say you want to create an AI shopping assistant that can see product image. For example, if there is a user who have seen a product or she doesn't know about the product, he just want to show it to the Google Gemini model. What is this product? Where can I get it? How much does it cost? And the AI agent should be able to see it through its lenses and go out to the internet, search it, find the best price for the user. You can create such use cases, of course, and I have actually listed down the step-by-step thing that you need to do if you want to just modify this particular code and create such application. It talks about every component that is being used in the entire code, what it does, and then it also tells you what you need to do. And exactly this is what I have done, right? What I have done was I've created a component. So as I've shown you, right, about Altair.tsx is the app that comes with this particular code. Now, if you want to create a new one, I would say do not change a lot of things. Just create another component like shopping assistant.tsx, and then just in the app.tsx, just remove this, right, the reference to where is Altair. Yeah, just remove that, and you see their app goes here. This comment is added, so you just remove that and add your component. That's it, and your app will be ready. You don't need to do a lot of changes. If you don't need to change control type, don't change it. If you don't need to change the live API provider, don't change anything there. You can just make your own application, the altair.tsx, just refer the altair.tsx, create your own application in the same format, add your tools and everything. I use like help from Cloud AI, or just give this entire file, like copy this and give it to Cloud AI. Use my Cloud AI's video, of course, if you have seen that, where I have given you some really awesome prompt. Use those prompt, define your project requirement, and then give it this file and ask Cloud AI to generate the new app, and it will be able to create the app for you. You don't even have to write things, and that's what I have done. I haven't done any rocket science in the customer that I created. So that's it really. And then your app will be ready. But again, I'm saying, I think I have already said it 5 times or before, that please do not use this playground component to make your production application that your users will be using. If you want to use something, you want to create a demo, it's absolutely fine. I have attached this particular guide for you, which you can use. So click the link and download this particular repository or clone this repository and make use of it. Now, if you want to really create a with production like feature, again, I have my course that I have already talked about it in previous videos. Check the link below and grab the course, because the course price is definitely going to increase day by day as I'm going to add more and more projects into it for you to refer. Because as part of the code, I'm mostly sharing all the codes that I create, all the custom app that I create, and that's the plan. So please make sure you join that and also help support the channel. The other way is, of course, you can also take a membership, and any members beyond Inside Explorer will be able to also join us into the weekly sessions that we run as part of the SaaS weekly membership. The only thing is you won't have access to the code or access to the lessons that the course members have access to. But if you're not interested in the course, that's absolutely fine. You can support me still by taking a membership, and you will be still be part of the weekly SaaS mentorship call, where different business owner comes in and we share our ideas and our issues and everything. So I think this video is already over 30 minutes now. I'm going to end the video here. And if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please let me know in the comments. And regarding the custom app that I have created, I'm going to share that hopefully soon to the course members. And if you can take the course, that would really help me as well. So with that said, I'm going to end the video. Please take care, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you on to the next one. Bye.